having me. We were just getting started with sharing what we're hoping to learn, hoping to get out of these next minutes that we have. So yeah, we're definitely going to stop the overthinking in its tracks and then how to be the leader, because really that's what we want, to be the leader, not have AI lead us. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll go ahead and get started. Now, I minimized us for the purposes of the recording, so I won't be able to see you, but please feel free to share in the chat because when I stop sharing the screen, then I'll be able to answer any questions or we could talk about your uh, thoughts and takeaways that you're having. So from overthinking to aligned action with AI. In this session, we are going to see how AI amplifies your self-image, your self-concept, how you see yourself. It's as if AI acts as a mirror where you get to see yourself. And we're going to look at how to identify the identity that's driving your decisions. And you will get to leave with one aligned action that you can take this week so you can start doing it differently and in a way that supports your goals. So AI amplifies how you think, and it doesn't change who you are being. That's the thing. This is something that it took me a little while to realize. In all the hours that I lost just kind of spiraling and spinning with AI, it finally dawned on me that, wow, this AI is really helping to support my perfectionism and my overthinking and my needing to people please and get it just right. And once I had that wake up call, then I was able to get back in the driver's seat and choose to do it differently. So we're all smart people. And even though we're intellectual, we're still mentally full. We get into that mental chaos in our mind and we second guess and question ourselves, like, where do I start? And it's very easy to get caught up in the perfecting and the refining instead of getting it out there or having those conversations, moving on to the next thing and making meaningful progress. And this is all just awareness, this piece, because we can only change what we're aware of. Awareness is the first step to changing anything. A lot of people think they have a productivity problem or a discipline problem, or they need to just use more willpower. But really, the deeper issue is it's an internal alignment problem. And that's what we're going to get a little more clear on today to get you back in that driver's seat. So the truth is, we act from who we believe that we are, not so much from what we know, because we know a lot. Again, we're very smart, but a lot of times we just kind of put that aside and we just look through the lens of how we see ourselves and what we believe about ourselves, and that colors our world. So we've got an old identity that's running the decisions that we're making today. If you've ever caught yourself thinking, I'm not ready yet, I need to get my ducks in a row, let me learn more, let me take another class, I got to get this research done. Or as a high achiever, it's common to minimize your wins, not celebrate your successes, and focus on where you're falling short. So it's that I should be further along. I should have achieved more by now. And then there's the I don't want to get it wrong or I don't want to make a mistake. And this starts to fuel the overthinking that we can get caught up in. So we use the tools to this that we've got going on instead of leading ourselves. So we look for more prompts. I know I have so many prompts saved everywhere on all different documents. I can't even find them. And I end up feeling more mentally drained and overwhelmed. And then we start refining. And wanting to learn more. And I've heard it called AI stacking, where you'll go over to, let's say, Perplexity and then Storm and then use ChatGPT and let me just try to get it just right. And then we're doing less of the making the decisions ourselves. It's kind of like we give AI, we make that who decides for us. So overthinking is often self-protection. It's a way to protect ourselves and our image. It's not really that you're not disciplined or you're not productive. Real productivity starts with your identity, how you see yourself. We don't need to plan better. We probably already plan, and we certainly don't need any more prompts than we already have. So we act from our self-concept and how we see ourselves, not so much from all the information that we've accumulated all these years. And share in the chat if any awarenesses or thoughts are coming to mind or even any questions, because we're going to get to them. I've got time at the end for some Q&A. So here's a tool that I want to share with you. It's not an AI tool. This is just a mindset alignment tool. Behavior follows identity. A lot of people focus on what actions they're going to take, what they're going to do next, how they're going to behave so that they can get the result or the outcome that they want. But the truth is, it's a trickle-down effect. And all of our results come from our identity. So that's what we're going to start to do today, is we're going to just kind of jump up to the top here. We're going to look at how we see ourselves, and then everything else starts to change. And then you start behaving differently, taking different actions, which leads to different results. So I'm going to do a longer session at a later date where I'm going to go more into this tool. But for today, we're going to focus a little bit on the beliefs and the identity. So when we really work hard to change our actions and our behaviors without starting with identity, it creates friction. So here's what I'm going to challenge you to do. Instead of asking, what should I do? Like focus on that doing and that behavior. Instead of that, ask yourself, who do I need to be for this to feel simple? Or who do I need to be for me to get this result? And see what comes to mind. So this is a great reflection question that you can use for anything, not just for using AI, but even for having a conversation with your loved one, maybe a difficult conversation. Who do I need to be for this conversation to go well? And really take action from there. So when we use tools in a way that's not aligned, we tend to hesitate. We tend to stay in the refining and in constant, never-ending preparation. And once you're aware of that, again, we are at a choice point. We can stop. And now we could decide, do, adjust along the way, kind of like a navigation system. You recalculate as you go, and then you continue. You stay in motion, taking aligned action. And that's a more effective way of using AI. So AI is great at generating any question you ask it. It is only always going to have an answer for you, and you get to choose because you're the leader. So this is about self-leadership and trusting yourself, because AI cannot replace your self-trust. You have to question it and tune into yourself and ask, what do I know to be true? What feels right to me? Because we know so much more than we give ourselves credit for. So now we're going to apply this to AI, same tool, right? We all have the access to these tools, whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, all the tools. But some people, they get different results, they get different outcomes. I'm in an AI mastermind and they're sharing all of these prompts and all of these different things that they're doing. And people are like, this is the best thing ever. And then I go and do it. And 5 hours later, I'm like, I'm more confused than I was before I started this. I had a different result than the other person. But again, we go back to identity. Who am I being compared to who are they being? So we have different thinking, different decisions, different results. How you see yourself also shapes how you prompt. We can get into trying to prove, I want to get it right. And we can end up refining endlessly. God knows I've done that so much. Or we can lead from a place of trusting ourselves. And then we can just decide and move on and do that tweaking and adjusting along the way. So AI does not stop the overthinking. I've seen it to help me overthink so much better than I can do it on my own, in fact. But it does magnify the thinking patterns that you bring to it. So for me, this awareness was golden because now I know that I can do something about it. I can do it differently. So here's the mindset alignment tool. And again, we're going to do a little bit with beliefs in a couple of minutes and identity. And then later on at another time, I'm going to take you through all of these layers of the mind so that you can get into alignment with the results that you want and you can make them happen a lot faster and easier with less friction. So here's the exercise. If you have your pen and paper, think of one decision or action that you've either been stuck on or caught up in or in that overthinking cycle. One decision or action where you're just not making the movement, the progress that you want, and just write that down. I'll give you maybe 30 seconds to think about that. And this is something that you want to move forward with. And it could be in the context of business, could even be in the context of personal life. Any questions while we're reflecting? Feel free to call out. No? Okay. All right. So looking at that decision or action that you wrote down, what belief would you say is driving that hesitation to make the decision or take the action? And these are just some sentence starters for you. Your answer could be totally different. Maybe you're telling yourself, I can't make this decision or I can't act yet, not ready yet because, and then fill in the blank. See what comes to mind. Or maybe you're telling yourself, well, I need XYZ before I can do this. Or maybe it just has to be just right. It has to be perfect. I know I'm a recovering perfectionist, so that's one that I struggle with. It's all that wanting it to be just right, clear. I need to make it more clear, or I need to be more clear. So see what it is for you. And again, if you have any questions at all, just please call out so we can talk through this. This is the interactive piece. It's really this self-reflection piece is so important to be able to just, when we notice that we're not quite getting the results that we want, or we're spinning or spiraling, or we're caught up in that overthinking, it's a good time to pause, take a couple of deep breaths, drop down out of your head and into your body, and just start to ask yourself some of these questions. Questions like this: who am I being right now? What belief am I operating out of? And again, it's not to judge yourself, it's to just have a new awareness, it's to observe. have a new understanding or an insight, and then you can choose to do it differently, right? Maya Angelou said, when you know better, you do better. And then the next question is, what identity does that belief belong to? So let's just say the action that I'm not Okay, I'll give a real life example. I recently had to make new business cards. I was almost out of business cards. They were really old and I wanted to design them. And I put it off for a while because I wanted it to be just right. So I went and I have an envelope of hundreds of business cards that I've collected at all these networking meetings. And I started looking through them to see what did other people do? Which ones do I like? And I started categorizing them. Oh, I like the color in this. I like the rounded corners in that. And I was like spending all of this time. And what belief that I was operating out of is that it's got to be perfect. I want it to be just right. And what identity does that belief belong to? A couple of different things. But what came to mind is I'm a perfectionist. I'm a people pleaser. And so that was driving those actions when instead of doing other things that could move the needle forward in my business, I'm spending days trying to craft the just right business card. By the way, I became aware of what I was doing. I stopped it. I got the business cards made and I have the new ones and I love them. So what identity does that belief belong to? And here's the tool again I wanted to show you. Jumping back up to identity, who do you need to believe you are for this action, this decision you want to move forward on to feel simple? Who do you need to believe that you are? I am. I am what? What can you fill in that blank with? In my example with the business cards, you know, I started to think of myself, I'm a business owner who gets things done. I know that nothing is really permanent and that I can always go back and tweak. The business cards are not forever. I ordered 500. They're going to go pretty quickly with all the networking that I do. I can make them again. I can make them better again. So I'm the kind of person who makes decisions and feels good about them. I'm the kind of person who likes to make meaningful progress. I'm the kind of person who prioritizes what's really important here. So these are some identity statements that you can come up with. And then when you start with identity and work down, you'll start noticing that you start behaving differently, taking different actions, and that leads to different results. So from that identity, the one that you just identified, what is one action that you will commit to taking this week? Write that down. One action that feels aligned to you that you're willing to take this week. And you can share that as well. Clarity. Clarity. Something that we all want. I just need to get clearer. Let me work harder. Let me do more. Clarity does not come from more effort. It comes from self-trust. And the more we can pause when we notice that we're in that overthinking, that perfectionism, that refining, that I got to get it right mode, and we just pause and take some deep breaths and drop down into our body and just be quiet and listen to your own wisdom that's inside of you and ask ourselves some outcome-oriented questions. What's important here? What's my intention? What's important about this? And then listen to the answers that come up and lead from that. The more you're going to make that meaningful progress and create the results that you want more of the time. So this is an inside job. When we change the identity that we're leading from, AI becomes leverage. But when we stay in how we used to see ourselves, the one that second guesses and questions and seeks external validation and comparison, what are others doing? Let me follow that. The more AI just becomes more mental noise that we don't need, especially in today's world. Let's close some of the tabs, the open tabs that we have in our mind. So before we get to the Q&A, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. But before I do that, I want to share my free gift to you, which is a daily mental reset. It's a 5-day short guided series to help you to quiet that overthinking and to take aligned action from a place of clarity and self-trust. So you can scan this QR code and you can get immediate access to this. And it includes an audio library that you can listen to on demand to help to start to change your self-image, the way you see yourself, and help it align with who you are today and the goals that you have now. So I want to thank you for attending this session. And we're going to go into Q&A and sharing in the next 5 minutes that we have. Anybody want to share what came up for them or even the action that you want to commit to taking this week? Feel free to call out, and I'm going to look at the chat while I'm waiting for you to speak.
Well, one thing you
I,
said, oops, go
Mhm.
ahead. Go ahead, Jill.
yeah, thank you. One of the things that towards the end you were talking about identity and how that's at the top. And then for me, it's more in the beliefs because knowing that I am, the words I am, I relate that to God because God is I am. So God has given us all this level of creativity and purpose. And if I know who I am, but when I get down to the beliefs, that's where it becomes foggy because AI is an awesome tool. And like you said, it's given me so many different ideas that I can run with, but choosing that one particular one. And then my thought process is, well, I wonder if this is really going to work. And that's where some of the confusion or doubt comes into play. So I'm just trying to figure out, do I just run with it? And you talking about self-trust, and I'm just trying to figure out how all of that pieces together.
Yeah. So the part that you were focusing on was the belief part, because the I am you have, you said, I am God. I
Mhm.
think that's what I heard you say. Right. So what belief did you, if you're willing to share, did you, when you reflected on that, you're becoming hesitant or in the overthinking, what belief is playing that we could shift?
I think more so if it's going to work, if it's going to
Questioning.
succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
And
I wonder if this,
going through multiple prompts, and my situation is I educate people about estate planning, but then I'm a voiceover artist, so I want to know how to combine the two, and I'm trying to figure out how do I use my voice. And part of that is, do I help people create legacy messages? Do I create voiceovers that estate attorneys or advisors can use to introduce what estate planning is, and
Mhm.
then also public speaking and all these different things that I want to do, and I just want to kind of get it
Kind of, yeah.
down to
Here's a
one
quick,
thing at a time.
this helps me, and we can all use this. I'm going to apply this to all of you. Sometimes how questions make me feel frozen because
Mhm.
I don't know the how a lot of the times. So I like to turn a how question into a what question. Instead of how do I use my voice, what's one way I love using my voice?
Okay.
Do you feel that difference?
Mhm. Mhm.
Good. Thank you for sharing, Jill.
Thank you.
Don, you wanted to share?
Yeah, yeah. Earlier in the talk, you mentioned this. You said, don't let, and this is very important, is don't let AI think for you. Don't let it dictate to you. Because
Mhm.
this, I think you were speaking about that earlier, mainly because I think Gemini is the most accurate one out, and it's only 69% accurate. So
Wow.
that's the other thing. The other ones are even less, a lot less accurate. So having them dictate to you could be the wrong information constantly coming at you. So it's very important that you keep it control because it will take over.
Oh yeah, it will take over. AI, ChatGPT used to be my cheerleader, and I told it, stop being my
Right.
cheerleader. I want you to be honest with me. Now I'm realizing perhaps that was a mistake because now it challenges me constantly. Everything I ask it, it says, I'm just going to be your sparring partner here because you asked for it. And I have to just stop it because it'll go on and on.
My daughter came out and said, "Dad, we don't need to go to, psychologists or anymore. We've got chat." I said, "No,
Oh,
absolutely
no,
not. Do not do that,
do
please."
not do that.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
Awesome. Anybody else? We only have 1 minute left. Any questions or comments, takeaways? I'm looking at the chat as well.
I think it's
Oh,
going to cut off in about 4 minutes, so you
4 minutes.
still a little
Oh,
bit of
we
time
have
left.
4 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up there.
Oh, okay. Wow. All
I
right.
think this was just really good, really helpful to kind of reframe, because I'm a person who overthinks a lot, especially when I'm trying something new, or offering something new. I don't feel like it's ready and all those things, which is something I'm dealing with right now with a new container. So this is super helpful. Thank you so much.
Good. I'm glad, Mary. Thank you. Even I love to play with, reframing. And even as I heard you say, and I've said this too, I'm a person who overthinks. I'm a person who, struggles with perfectionism. It's like, okay, what's another way of looking at this? I'm a person who cares, right? I'm a person who
Absolutely.
wants to be my best. And I don't know, does that feel different to you? It feels different to me.
Hmm.
Yeah, it definitely does. That's a
Yeah,
great way to look at it.
yeah. And then from that energy, because it's a different energy, you'll have access to different ideas and different thoughts and be more resourceful, I would say.
That's great.
Yeah. Anybody else? Questions, comments? Anybody want to share their action that they're going to take that you work through during the exercise? The decision I'll tell you, I spent about 2 weeks on that decision to design my business cards. Ridiculous to spend that kind of time.
Mhm.
Share my action, Nikki. And by the way, amazing talk. But I love you and everything you do is just so freaking spot on. Um, One of the decisions that I've been marinating in for 2 years now is following up with leads through like DM and texts and all of that. I just hate that on so many levels. And now I'm going to leave that limiting belief where it is. It makes me feel good. But what I realized is the reason I haven't outsourced that has nothing to do with money. I invest in my business all the time. But what's holding me back is the SOP. So the operating procedure. So
Mhm.
what I'm going to do this Monday, I'm going to spend an hour and a half actually following up in DMs, capturing all of the steps, capturing what works and doesn't, and then I'm going to dump that into AI and say create an SOP so I can actually hire a VA to do this nonsense for me.
Yes. Yes. And I was going to say it would be great to use AI to create the SOP.
And actually, how far AI has come in just a couple of years. Actually, chatbots right now are coming out that can do that for you. It will actually talk to the client, set the appointment, send it to your CRM, and send it to a sales rep if there has a sales rep. It's happening right now. It's changing so fast. It's incredible.
It is. It is incredible what it could do. That's why
Yeah.
I said, who has a love-hate relationship? I do love it, and I've hated it when I've allowed it to lead and lost trust with
Yes,
myself.
that's what I was going for. Yeah. Don't
Hmm.
let it lead you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Good. Anybody else have any questions or takeaways? Anything you want to share? I'm glad you found it helpful. And this is all about awareness first.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you.
You're welcome, Jill. Thank you.
I'll
Thank
just
you for
say, be cautious out there, people. Because here's another thing that's happening. Because it's getting so well, anybody can make an agent right now. You can make an agent. I can make
Yeah.
an agent. You can sell on the market. Here's the problem: are they putting security on the back end, right?
Mm.
So all this stuff is flooding the market. Just be careful who you're using and make sure it's they've got the the security in the back, because that's a big issue coming up now too.
Right. You mean the information that we share with it?
Well, no, just the security on
Oh.
this app that I'm going to be selling to somebody, right?
Ah,
Can it be hacked? Is there anything on the back end, right,
I
that's going to
see.
protect these people? Because it's aren't companies doing it; it's everybody and their mothers producing stuff now and
Hmm.
just selling it out there. It's kind of crazy.
That's true. Yeah. Got to trust yourself first.
Yep.